want to talk about the underlying truth behind what we experience on a day-to-day basis. Let it be, the economy, society, government, labels, race, sex, even. You know, um, I guess the primary focus I'm going for is we as human beings are very vulnerable. We have this ability to learn and possibly create, but more so, observe, experience, learn, and think of us as like a blank sheet of paper. And as time progresses, as our lives grow, our brain, as being the blank sheet of paper, is constantly filled, with notes and quotes and things that really kind of give us an idea of what reality is. But if you think about that in retrospect, it goes to show how easy we could be manipulated, because the people who are selling us the truth, also selling us the problems, could be keeping us in a certain perspective, a certain, you know, uh, way of looking at not only ourselves, but the world around us as not only negative, but positive in some instances. Kind of like, think of it, like a hierarchy. There's people on top, like a ladder. They're at the very top of the ladder, and here we are at the bottom to middle. Kind of working our way. But then again, that is an illusion, because in all reality, they're not really above us, but we feel as if they are. They control the money, so we feel that they know what's up. You know what I mean? Kind of like, all right, here's a good example. Like music and musicians and stuff like that. If you hear somebody, like a friend, play a song, like, oh, well, that's good music, but you're not really taken by it, like, wow. But then you can hear somebody else that you've never met, on the radio. You hear them on the radio, and they'll have a song out, and the song really, when it comes down to the creativity, we'll say, brilliance behind it, there's not really any there. It's just the same as you've heard many times before. But because it's on the radio, you view that person as somehow above yourself. So then you view them as more, wow, this is what's up. This is really, really amazing stuff in comparison to the person you already know. Because, they're just, you already know them. You know what I mean? So you don't see them as higher than you. You see them as no different than yourself in a sense. So it's kind of like that, with the government and stuff like that. I mean, how do the few control the many? Who's in control of the media? Who filters all that? Who filters, books? Who filters generally everything? And a lot of people say, well, there's no filter. We live in a free country. Well, who's to say they don't just say that, and that's, you know what I mean? How do we know what they do? Are we there consciously watching them? No, we take their word for it, and like, because somehow we see them above ourselves. But who's to say their word is truth? Because in all reality, if they live by mind and they have the illusory false sense of self that they want to be better than everybody else, they want to be on top so they don't struggle, they thrive, why wouldn't they make us feel like we are below them, thus keeping to the pattern that we are below them and they are above us? But it's all psychological, because in real life, they're not. In real life, they're no different than you, me, ants, bugs, trees, life in general. We're all the same. We're all a part of this world. Ideas don't exist outside your head. You know what I mean? They don't exist outside of your own feelings. I call them like thought feelings. You get a thought of something, and then you get a feeling, and you mix them, and that is your filter of perspective. But ultimately, we are the ones who are aware of that. We are the consciousness, if you want to call it, or awareness, who where thought comes from, where thought goes in, and you know what I mean. We're the ones who are aware of our feelings, aware of the thoughts happening, not necessarily the one hearing them, because that's all impulses, as they've said many times over. It's like what we see is not really what is. It's just a reaction in our brain, like a electrical signal, frequency, whatever you want to call it. Same thing with our hearing, touch, everything. So we used to say this world is even as we see it. Let's get back to the three-dimensional aspect of reality. So we feel this one way about people and things, and we have this illusion of grandeur, an illusion of less than ourselves, But where does that come from? And what I've come to learn from experience is that a lot of that comes from fear of destruction, fear of death. But really, why be afraid of death? Because death is inevitable. I mean, it's the only thing that always happens, that and change. So, you you die, you know, but who's to say you die? Maybe it's just, the body dies. I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter. Does it matter where we came from? Does it matter where we're going? Does any of it matter? Can we just enjoy the experience that we're having now at this present moment? As I'm talking to a camera, nobody else in the room, sharing ideas with whoever is able to listen. So, kind of like that, experience the experience with no judgment. Don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Just experience it because it's happening. It's the only thing that's happening. If you want to live in this mind reality that bills are a problem, all this is a problem. Really, it's not, because if you're not afraid of death, do you care if you eat? No, because you don't have the fear that you're going to miss out. It's what it is. It's self-indulgent, of the mind. It's seeking, 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 never being fulfilled. Like I've always said, is you can help the helpless, but you can never help the needy. Because the needy, once you help them, they're going to need more because they're just needy. It's not that they genuinely need assistance, that they genuinely need help. Like someone trying to carry something that they physically can't carry, and they don't ask for help, but you go and help them anyways. That's helping the helpless in a sense, because no one else is there to help them, but you are there, and they physically cannot do it. Now, someone who's carrying groceries and there's 2 bags, and they can physically carry both, yet they say, "Oh, will you carry this for me?" Like you're doing them some great justice. In all reality, they can do it by themselves. They're just needy. It's that mind's constant want, fulfillment of being higher than the other, thus somehow subconsciously feeling like they escaped death a little bit. It doesn't make any sense, but that's the reality of it, Also, religion. Let's talk about religion. People put so much of their own time and awareness into beliefs because of their fear of death. I mean, why else would you care if there's someone watching over us? Why else would you care if there's a hell, Why else would you care, where we came from, how we came to be? Why does it matter? Unless you're trying to escape something that, you know. And then a lot of people say, well, it's just interesting. I'm interested in it. Well, no, not necessarily. That's just an excuse. A lot of things are excuses after excuse. All you can really do is live this life, experience what you experience, take that and turn it into a perspective, and try to realize that none of it really matters, that it's just an experience. You're just awareness experiencing itself. I mean, there's so many different ideas, so many different beliefs, and it just creates division, Oh, I'm Catholic, oh, I'm Christian, oh, I'm Jewish. Doesn't matter, really. And then you go up to somebody and you start talking about how God's not real, which is just another idea, another concept. Like atheists say they're not religious in all aspects. Atheism is a religion because they're following a strict thing of absolutes. You know what I mean? They're trying to defeat death that way. I mean, none of it matters. It's kind of like I don't know. I don't really have any good analysis on that, but it just doesn't matter. Do we have to be so self-indulgent that we have to know? I mean, we're gonna die anyways. Doesn't matter if we die today, tomorrow, 50 years down the road, 30 years down the road. I mean, and also the sadness of death. You see it in movies, and people die, and you see it in real life too. People die, and people go irate, ballistic, out of control, crying, and not thinking, not even necessarily thinking. They're just not even living in awareness. They're living through that filter of, how can this happen to me? They turn into a victim all of a sudden. Well, life happens. People die, things die. It's nothing to be sad about because it's life. It's just another experience. Live it and learn it. It's not sad. It just is. And same thing with birth too. I mean, a lot of people are joyed by it, and think of it as an energy. Like maybe a positive energy, but who knows? Ultimately, ideas are ideas, and it doesn't matter what you think you are or what you feel you are, because it doesn't matter what you're doing, because you already are. Doesn't matter what you are or where you are. Can't you just be? Live as awareness and be, in a sense. And yeah, we'll leave that as the first video for right now, and I'll come back at a later time. Thank you.